Is it possible to leave your 9 to 5 and monetize your area of knowledge or your skill set using a personal brand starting from zero? Now the answer is yes, and if you were looking for a sign to lock in 2026, this is it, because I'm going to show you exactly how I did it so you can just copy and paste the exact system. So if I was you, I'd get a pen and paper and I'd pay close attention, because if you can't even watch this 20-minute video, then you're gonna have a very hard time trying to make it. Now the first question I'm going to ask you is, do you know what the real reason why most people never grow a personal brand past 10,000 followers? Now, is it because they don't post enough? Or is it B, because their content isn't good enough? Is it C, because they don't know how to go viral? Or is it D, because they don't understand how to build connection? Now the answer is D, they don't know how to build a connection. Now that's why I create this dummy-proof blueprint which will get you to 100,000 followers if you put your ego aside, if you put yourself to the side, your emotions, and actually follow the plan. Now, 5 years ago, I sent this message to a close friend of mine. Now, the message says, bruv, I'm from the UK, so you probably would have noticed by that. I've been in that mood where I feel like such a failure, BMT, which stands for Big Man Ting. I feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like I ain't doing shit. I feel to give up my social media shit. I don't know why I used to say shit so much. We've had so many conversations based on this, but bro, it's stressing me out now. I hope I don't give up and one day look back at this and thank myself for it. Lol. Anyway, it felt good to let that shit off my chest. I'll be on my way to edit my YouTube video. And I clearly remember this day when I was working on this brown sofa at my mum's house. And I probably at the time had around 80 subscribers, and probably like 40 of them were subscribed to unsubscribe. This was a thing back in the day where you sub for sub. Anyway, I was consistently posting by this point, but I was consistently posting shit. I just didn't know what to post. There was 3 years of no results. I had 600 followers from follow to unfollow. I used to follow accounts and unfollow them. And after a bruised ego, I bought 4,000 followers to make myself feel better. And the reason I didn't buy 10K followers is because I said to myself, that is too obvious. And anyway, this is the message that I sent to my friend. And 1 year later, I said my dad's Chinese and my mom's Colombian. Long story short, this video got me 98,000 followers in 10 days from just one video alone, as you can see on the right. I got invited by the Chinese government to fly to China. I've got the award somewhere up there. And I got all the attention, something that I had never gotten before. Now, at this moment, I realized the power of social media, but there was one problem. You most likely have this problem. You don't have super HD content. You've tried everything in the past, am I right? You don't speak good enough English. You feel like you're wasting time, or you're probably not Chinese Colombian. Now, by the end of this webinar, I'm going to show you how none of this actually matters. And that's why I done it again. I completely changed my niche. I lost over 14,000 followers in 30 days. And from getting millions of likes to only getting around 200 likes. Now, after I stayed consistent and I followed exactly what I'm going to show you, I managed to get 87.4 million views in 30 days, 7.3 million interactions, and 948,000 followers in only 30 days. Now, I done all of this with the 3 secrets I'm going to show you today. Now, what you're going to leave with is a system on how to build momentum from zero, how to go viral intentionally and not by luck, and the solution to the problem I was talking about earlier. Now, I've always said hypothetical is hypocritical. I will not speak about something, I will not preach about something if I personally am not doing it or have not done it. Now, this is David. He used Secret 1. He learned how to build momentum from zero, and from never posting and having no idea what to post. He hated the camera. He didn't like social media, but he realized the importance of attention, because attention is a new currency. His video got 7 million views, and now I think he's on like 10 point something million views. Here we have Mo, who his max amount of views was 900 views. And in his first month, he managed to get 2 viral videos, 312,000 views, and the other video got around 87,000 views. But this one I think now is on over 500,000 views. Now, for those that don't know me, my name is Brandon, also known as Sunwa. Now, I'm going to give you a funny story why I use the name Sunwa. I don't know how long you've been following me for, but the name Sunwa is actually my Chinese middle name. Now, growing up, I was someone who was very insecure, and I was someone who always just wanted to keep myself to myself. I didn't really want to get close to him because I was embarrassed of who I was. There was a period of time where my dad had a Chinese takeaway and we had to live underneath it just due to financial situations, and I hated it. I didn't want anyone to know, and I was someone that just wanted to keep everyone happy because I didn't want any extra attention onto me, and I didn't want anyone knowing I was Chinese. So one thing I promised myself was that I was going to use the name that used to break me to make me, and I made a promise to myself that I was going to make something out of the name called Sunwa. Now, this takes on to the next story of my life where my biggest fear has always been being average. Like, something inside of me knew I was ambitious, but I was kind of embarrassed of being ambitious because the moment I'll speak about these dreams, I'll just look at the people that were listening and they'll just think, well, everyone wants this. And then I started to question myself, well, if everyone did want this, why doesn't everyone have it? Then I realized I stopped watching what they were doing, I stopped watching what they were saying, and I started seeing what they were doing. Then a lot of things changed. I felt entitled to greatness, but I kept on doing average things. That was me, a picture working in my retail place. This was in Lacoste, this was in Bond Street, this is, those that know London, it was right next to Selfridges. This is a YouTube video where I was working at my auntie's restaurant at the time. I was a waiter, and all of this you can find on my YouTube channel, which I posted, I think, over a year ago. Now, at the age of 25, I realized it's not the how, it's the who, because I tried so many things to be successful. I tried trading, I tried crypto, I tried drop shipping. I just wanted to find that the next thing that I had to do, this next idea, it had to be a big win. If I didn't get the result straight away, then all of a sudden I was a failure. Then I realized it wasn't the plan, the how, because it worked. There was proof of concept. People had results in it, but I just wasn't the person capable of making it work. And that's when I realized that to build the tallest skyscraper, you need the deepest foundation, and you are the foundation. You are the vehicle, that the destination to arrive at that destination, which is, in this case, personal branding for me. And when I realized this, I told myself, I am going to lock in and never look back. Now, I remember posting my first ever video, and I showed it to a very close friend of mine at the time. And I quote for you word for word. He said, "Why are you such a cringe fest?" And I was so self-conscious, and I was so afraid of being judged about what other people may think, that I remember I was this close of never posting that video. I didn't want to post it, but I said, what do I have to lose? I'm already 25 years old. I have no career path. I didn't go to university. Well, I've got nothing to lose. So I just posted that video, and I remember I just went to the gym and I started training. Turned off the phone, and as soon as I got home, I just all of a sudden see a lot of notifications. That was my first ever viral video. Long story short, this is a picture of me receiving a golden award for my content, sent off, flying around China. That was the first time I realized that how a different action can create a different result. And as I was walking through the streets of a city in China called Hunan, where there was these tall, massive skyscrapers with different different buildings, and it was just such a surreal experience, something that I'd never experienced before. And as I was walking on these streets, it was probably around 9 p.m. And I was just thinking to myself, went back to that point, and I said, imagine I never posted that video. Anyway, today we're at 361. I think as of now, we're on 363,000 followers on Instagram and 255,000 followers on TikTok. Now, that trip changed my life, and I hope it changes yours too. Now, this person that you see to the left of me with a blue shirt, his name is Max. Now, Max is a content creator who lives in China. He has over 8 million subscribers. Now, before I went on this trip, I had this big ego thinking, well, I'm the biggest creator here. Long and behold, I was the smallest creator. I was people who had 8 million subscribers, 12 million followers, just very big creators, some of the biggest creators in South America. And I remember I was with him throughout the whole trip. And there was one thing that he had that I didn't. It was his consistency. Now, that picture that you see on the right, as you can see there, the time of it says 3:51 in the morning, because we kept on grabbing a flight every day and a half. So we were going from one place to another place and traveling to a different city. So at this point, we arrived to this place called Urumqi. And it was 3 in the morning, basically 4, and I just wanted to sleep. I was so tired. Everyone was so sleep deprived. I still was waking up at 5 a.m., as I always do. And I just was thinking about my bed. And I remember Max, as soon as he was about to get off this bus, he fixed his hair and he started speaking in front of the camera. And at that point, I had a click. I realized that if I wanted those results, I had to do the same thing that they were doing. And that's something that I didn't do. And I'm going to explain to you everything now. And I remember we were eating at this place in this hotel that the government reserved just only for us. And I asked him, how can I grow my brand to 1 million followers? You have 8. I just need 1. How do I do it? And this is where it comes to the first secret. The consistency is a vehicle, and it goes into identity mechanics. Now, the key is to change how you see yourself, and your actions will follow. Now, your identity is basically this story that you tell yourself. A simple illustration I'm going to tell you is on the 1st of January, everyone gets motivated. They want to go to the gym because they see themselves in shape. They've seen someone do it. Now, they go up to the gym, they sign up, they go for the first 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, they don't see the results as quickly as they wanted to. Now, all of a sudden, they start to doubt themselves. And that first story that they told themselves that got them to the gym starts to change. And now, as soon as that story changes, the behavior also follows. Then you have lazy behavior, lazy action, lazy results. You don't see a result, then eventually you give up. Which is why you need to start changing the story that you tell yourself, and that will allow and that will dictate the consistency that you have. And I'm going to explain it to you. Now, I want you to imagine every post is hiring an employee. You just started your business, which is your personal brand, and you want to have people, you want to get people to know you. Now, every post is an employee that goes out there to work. But the difference is, you don't have to pay for them. That means you can get as many as you want. Now, every time that you have an employee, some of them might have great CVs, and on paper, you might think this video might do amazing. And it doesn't do as good as you thought. And there's another video that you might think, this video isn't going to perform that well. You post it, and all of a sudden, it does numbers that you never expected. But guess what? They consistently stay working. So how many people would you hire? Well, I'm presuming that you would hire as many people as possible. Which why the key that you need to do is post videos, because everyone is so tied up with the vanity metrics of the likes, the views, the followers. Well, the key to longevity is not caring about the vanity metrics, because all of a sudden you start to get overwhelmed, the story changes, I don't see the results, and then eventually you stop posting. Now, if you stop posting, it guarantees that you never see these results, you never see the followers, you never see the views, you'll never be able to monetize your passion using your personal brand. So the key is just posting videos. So that's why you have to focus on not the views, but focus on, did I post a video that will allow me to get these views? That is a question you need to ask yourself. So your North Star metric should be, do more of what gets you the results. So do this today. From now on, you're going to post daily no matter what. You're going to track what performs, and you're going to repeat winners. Now you might be saying, but how do I post daily? Because posting daily isn't a strategy. You need to know what to post. Now I'm going to go into that. Secret number 2 is your message is your power. Now, I've always said, if you don't post content, you're selfish, because you are the bridge between where you used to be to where you are now, because you wished you knew what you know today, which is why you are where you are today. But someone out there is still where you used to be that needs you. That's why you need to be who you needed when you were younger. Now, this is the doubt that I always used to have. But why would someone choose me over anyone else? I presume that you've probably had the same doubts, right? Now, I want you to think about this. Most people go online and they just speak value. You're going to lose, because we have things like ChatGPT. Then people just speak about them. You're not an influencer, unless that's what you want to be. Now, if you have the perfect mix of value and your story, that's how you create a personal brand. Now, the secret is speak to your younger self. Now, what can you talk about for hours? This is where your passion comes in. What did you suffer through and overcome? This is where your skill comes through. And what are you helping your younger self do? Because you understand this person. Now, here's the problem I was talking about. I had 200,000 followers and I barely made any money. I was a viral nobody. Now, income really came when I built value, which is relationship trust solutions. Okay? Now, one thing I want you to understand is, to get to the point where you can go viral, it is a skill. It is not luck. And this is what I'm about to teach you. Now, the secret is to have value over viral. Because social media is to be social, to make friends. Because people buy from people they like. And this is the biggest misconception. People think you get paid from the internet. No, you get paid from people who use the internet. You don't go out there giving everyone your money. But if you like someone, if you trust them and you really believe they can give you the solution to your problem, you will happily invest in that person. So the question you might be asking me, how do I create content? Don't recreate the wheel. And I want to give you an example is you need to start seeing what is already working. There is LICs, there are carousels, and you might be thinking, what is this language? I'm going to go into it now. Now, there is going to be something that is already working. You're going to realize a pattern, which is why you have to be aware. But most people, especially when I first started off, I would tell myself, oh, I want to be original. I want to have this idea. I don't want to copy anyone else because I want to be the first person to make it work. Now, imagine McDonald's said that they're not going to sell burger, chips and fries, burger, chips and Coke, because Five Guys sells burger, chips and Coke, or because Burger King sells burger, chips and Coke. They all sell the same thing. They all have the same thing. But the reason why they will choose you over someone else because they have that different source. You have a different source. What is that? You. Because you've managed to overcome a very specific problem in a very specific way, which makes people feel understood, heard, and they can relate to. Just remember, content isn't just content. I used to think, oh, videos are just videos. No, every video, it plays a different purpose. It plays a different role. Now we have LICs, which are meant for awareness. We have authority videos, which are made for building trust. And you have long form content, which is meant for building connection. Something like this. Now there's one thing that I like to speak about, which is a cheat code. The cheat code is your daily stories, because your daily stories is you nurturing your audience in real time. You're really getting to bring them with you. It's like a reality TV show. You get to have people to like you, to see what you're good at, to empathize, and to be transparent and authentic. Now going back, this is an LIC. This concept is an LIC. You've probably seen me post loads of these. Now these are made for awareness, just so people can recognize that you exist. Because remember, the best solution is the best known solution. If you have the best content in the world and no one knows you exist, well, eventually, no one's gonna know you exist. So this is why viral content exists. It's basically B-roll, text on screen, and a sound. This is what we call building connection content. This is like talking head, where people get to relate to you. And the reason I speak about dark side, and many people are so afraid of being vulnerable, is because people can attack you through you being vulnerable. But think about your closest friends. Your closest friends are the people that you know their deepest, darkest secrets. This is the same thing. You want to be able to empathize to build true connection. Now, this is YouTube, long form content. They say that it takes someone an average of 7 hours of content for them to consume to really build a connection with you, like become best friends. Now, to build and watch 7 hours of short form content is going to take a very long time. But through long form content, they just have to watch a few and they really get to know you. Now, this is the unlimited content cheat code. This is a little hack that not many people know about. And I want you to think about like a Lego. Imagine like a Lego where you have the head, the body, and the legs, where you can switch different legs and change the costumes. I used to play with these a lot. Now, the head is the hook. The hook, it creates curiosity. It lets people stay on the video to watch the rest of it. The body of the Lego is the value. Does it align with the hook, the curiosity that you caused? The legs is a takeaway. This is where you give them a perspective shift. This is where you tell them to do something. Now, if all three are succinct and it fits perfectly, that's how you have a viral video, a good video. Now, most people think that, oh, I've done one video, it's a bad video, now let me go again and do another video. Well, you can actually make so many different variations from just one video, and that allows you to consistently post every single day. All you have to do is change the hook or change the body, play around and change it, because if people didn't watch the whole of your video, it doesn't mean it's a bad video. Sometimes it could just mean it's a bad hook, that it didn't cause enough curiosity, that people weren't interested. So you can play around and change it. So you can post 10 different versions of the same thing, 100 different versions, just by changing the hook. It could be the visual, it could be the text on screen. Now that is a big hack, which I just gave you. Now, once I did this, everything changed. I went from making $88.40 from the TikTok reward program to making what I used to make, not even in a month, as an Uber Eats delivery driver and working in a retail store. And not only that, it's just doing something that I love, impacting people, receiving messages and making a difference, rather than working somewhere where I felt that anyone can do it. Like, you can put a monkey with no IQ and they could just fold clothes. They could just ride a bike and knock on your door and deliver you food. I wanted to feel like I'm using the gifts that I've been given. And that's how Mali also, following the same structure that I've mentioned to you, he only has 7,000 followers. And in his first week of doing what I showed you, he managed to make £2,389 in his first week. Now, if there's anything I want you to take away from this, it's going to have to be the mindset reset. which you have to use for being overthinking in only 20 seconds. Now think about this. Most people get burnt out because you feel entitled to an outcome. Now, the moment you shift your perspective onto the inputs, then that's when it becomes energy. Now, let me break it down to you very, very simply. Now, most people are so overwhelmed. Am I going to get the followers? Am I going to make the sale? Is this video going to hit? So you're so focused on the future of the what ifs that you're not in the present. Then you go into the past. What should have I changed? Why did I not start 10 years ago? Why did I do this? Then you start to get overwhelmed and frustrated. So now you're living in the past and the future, but it's taking you away from the now. Now, what do you have to do to grow your personal brand? Post videos. If you're stuck overthinking in the future or stuck depressed in the past, you're not in the now. You can't create videos. You can't take action. The key is to always take action. That's why the inputs overwhelm you when you feel entitled to the outcome. But when you feel entitled to the inputs, realizing that this is going to eventually lead me there, that is when it becomes energy. And that is the mindset shift that you need, that allowed me to get to where I am, that allowed Mali to get to where he is, that's allowed most of the greatest creators to get to. Because it is a very mental game. Everyone can do it, but if you don't have that mental resilience, if you don't have that mental toughness and the discipline, you are going to fail, which is why you need to build the foundation, which is you, and make sure that you are consistent and remember your why to why you want to do this. Now, I always ask myself, as I was walking down that street in China, imagine I never posted that video. Well, I would not be here speaking with you now. Now, my goal today is to make sure that you look back in the next 12 months and realize that you had just put a ceiling over your head, that you were just living projections of limited beliefs. And the moment you broke that paradigm, the moment you were exposed to the videos like this, to know that you are capable of doing anything that you put your mind to, that is what I want. So the question I'm going to ask you is, imagine your life if you post for the next 12 months. Now, this is exactly what I've used. And this is why I always say, the information is out there. You don't have an information issue. You have an application issue. And that's what I want you to do. Now, if you want me to help you on your journey, if you want me to guide you, tell you what to post, how to post, I would go through all of your content, show you the systems, the structures that are in depth specifically for you. Book a call down below and let me see if I can help you out. Let's start 2026 strong.